The pain wasn't just physical. It had gotten to the point where even breathing felt like dragging sandpaper through my chest. Every movement was sharp, every morning colder, every night longer. And I still went to work. I still showed up, because I couldn't afford not to. They knew. I remember sitting at the kitchen table that evening, a pale yellow bottle of prescribed anti-inflammatories in my palm. My voice was calm, quiet. Doctor says I need the surgery soon. My insurance only covers part of it. I need help covering the rest. Dad didn't look up from the TV. Mom stirred the pot on the stove like I wasn't there. And then came her voice, flat, tired. Should have thought of that before wasting your 20s working at a garage instead of becoming something. I tried again. I've already covered most of the bill. I just need help with, we're not a bank. Liam, Dad cut in. You made your choices. That's when my sister Kendra walked in. Designer bag slung over her shoulder. Sunglasses still on her face even though it was nearly 8 p.m. Mom, guess what? She said, tossing her hair. I just sent Mango's paperwork to get added to the family health plan. They said he'll be approved by Monday. I blinked. Mango? I asked. My dog. She snapped. He's purebred. We're making sure. He's covered for emergencies. Mom giggled. Of course. We don't want anything happening to our little boy, do we? Dad chuckled too. Smart move. Vet bills are worse than people hospitals these days. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. My stomach turned cold. I looked down at the pill bottle. Then at all three of them laughing like it was a sitcom. They wouldn't give a cent for their son's surgery, but they moved fast to insure a dog. I got up quietly, went to my room, closed the door. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, counting cracks in the paint. I thought about how Kendra had been given everything since she was little. Ballet, private tutors, a new car at 16, while I worked part-time jobs since high school, fixing engines and delivering pizzas to keep the lights on in my tiny basement room. They used to tell me, she's just fragile, Liam. Be the strong one. Turns out strong just meant disposable. The next morning, I didn't speak to anyone. I showered, dressed, and left early. Drove my half-broken pickup down to work with my back screaming in pain and one leg practically numb. My boss pulled me aside at lunch. You okay? He asked. You're limping like hell. I'm fine, Liam. I said I'm fine. But I wasn't that weekend. While Kendra posted selfies from her spa day with Mango wrapped in a Gucci dog robe, I was sitting in a free clinic waiting room with a paper wristband, and ice taped to my side. They couldn't do the surgery. Not without proper insurance or upfront payment. All they could do was prescribe stronger meds and tell me to be careful. I left feeling like trash in human form. When I got home, there was a party going on. Kendra's boyfriend's birthday, strangers in the house, music blaring, and Mango in a crown. I stepped over him on the way to the fridge. Mom caught sight of me and scowled. Don't be a downer. You always bring a cloud. I just came to get my meds. You can come to the party if you clean yourself up, Kendra shouted from the patio. I turned, holding her gaze. You know I might need a cane in a few months if this gets worse. She shrugged. Well, then you'll match the dog. People laughed. Something in me died then. Quietly, like a switch, I said nothing. I walked to the fridge, grabbed my pills, and left the room. I didn't slam doors, didn't scream. I just packed what I needed and went back to work. Doubled my shifts, said yes to every overtime. Took a night side hustle fixing junk cars for resale. I slept on a friend's couch, ate whatever was free. I stopped calling, stopped checking in. And slowly, I built something, and I kept a secret, something. No one in that house even imagined I had the guts to do. But they would soon. And when they did, they'd feel exactly what I felt, ignored, humiliated, discarded, and worse, they'd be begging. Just not to me. I watched from a distance for a year, didn't return calls, didn't respond to texts. Not that there were many. The silence from their side was almost comforting. Like they had already accepted that I was no longer part of their family. Good. That made what came next easier. I started my own mobile mechanic business out of the back of a refurbished van. Got a loan using my manager's reference. Spent nights sleeping in the van, under highway bridges, in truck stoplots, fixed cars for half price. Clean oil-stained hands with fast food napkins. Ate peanut butter crackers for dinner. But the name Quick Fix Liam started spreading. One client told another, then another. By the end of that year, I had 3 vans, 2 employees, and a contract servicing delivery fleets. And my spine? Still not great, still no surgery. But I was standing straighter. Not because the pain was gone, because the shame was. One night, I saw an Instagram post from Kendra. Mango's vet said he might need surgery for his knee brace. For my baby boy. The comments were filled with, "Oh my God, poor Mango. And you're such a good mom to him." I almost laughed. She never even offered me a ride when I couldn't walk. Then another post from Mom. The worst thing a parent can feel is being ignored by their children after all the love we gave love. They gave me silence. They gave me Mango. I printed that post out and pinned it in my office. It reminded me what I was working toward. Not revenge, a reckoning. I wasn't going to shout. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to wait, because someday soon, they were going to need me. And when that day came, I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't cry. I would simply let the door close. Just like they did to me. It was a Thursday when I got the call. Block number, hesitation on the other end, then Dad's voice, low and hoarse. Like he wasn't sure if I'd hang up. "Liam, it's your mother." I didn't say anything. She collapsed at the store. "They're saying something's wrong with her heart." Still, I said nothing. He fumbled, then added, "We need help. They're not approving the insurance. They said, we're not covered anymore." We didn't know. Kendra added the dog instead of. I pressed my thumb against my temple. The silence between us was so thick it practically buzzed. "She's in critical condition, Liam. They said they need a down payment. We're not in a good place financially." I let that hang. The same words they once said to me. "Not in a good place financially. She's your mother," he added. Voice cracking. "Please." I finally spoke. "Did you try the family insurance?" His breath hitched. It lapsed. When Kendra added Mango. "That's right," I cut in. "The dog got the slot, and I got silence." "Son, we were wrong, okay? But this is different, is it?" I asked, voice calm but ice cold. "Because I remember sitting in a kitchen chair, unable to walk, while you told me, we don't have the money to help you walk again. But you had the money for kibble, vet visits, and a miniature orthopedic bed for a Shih Tzu." He started to say something, but I cut him off. "I paid for my surgery myself, took yours. I worked through it. You know what kept me going? Knowing I didn't owe you a thing." "I know." He whispered. We deserve that." I leaned back in my chair. "You do." Silence. Then came the part I was waiting for. "Can you help us, Liam?" I stared at my desk. Photos lined the shelf above it. My team. My company's first mobile garage van. My plaque from the city's Small Business Recognition Board. And behind that photo, the sealed folder I had kept for 2 years. "Sure." I said, "Come to St. Andrew's Hospital. Ask for room 814. Bring Kendra too." They arrived looking like ghosts, thinner, older. Kendra walked in wearing oversized sunglasses and clutching her purse. Like it would save her. When they saw me, standing beside the window, suit crisp, no limp, no cane. Mom's jaw actually dropped. I smiled. "Glad you made it." Kendra scoffed. "Is this a joke? Where's the doctor?" "She's not in this room," I said, and gestured to the chair. "But go ahead. Sit down. You want to be comfortable." I opened the folder, pulled out the papers. "What's this?" Dad asked. "Your insurance. Or what's left of it. You know how the family policy lapsed." I held up the form. "I bought it." "What?" Mom blinked. 4 years ago. When you dropped me, the company called to confirm the change. I asked if I could take over the payments. You never noticed because you don't check fine print. You thought Kendra was still listed as primary holder." Kendra's mouth parted. "You're lying." I smiled. "Am I? then explain why this letter is addressed to me, or why Mango's policy was suspended last month. Dad's voice cracked. Why? Why would you do that? Because I knew this day would come. When you needed help, when you come crawling. So I made sure when you finally reached the bottom, I'd be standing at the top, watching. Kendra stood up. We don't need this. You're still the same pathetic. I held up a finger. Say one more word, and I'll show the press the receipts of every payment made from your spa days using Mom's emergency funds. She paled. I didn't forget what you all said. He's dramatic. He just wants attention. He's not worth it. That's what you told the doctor. Dad sat down, face in hands. Now, I said, folding the folder, the hospital says your bill is $38. Zero. I could pay it right now. They looked up, hopeful. But I won't, Liam, Mom whispered. Because I used that money to pay off the mortgage of the family who let me sleep in their garage when I was homeless. They fed me. Believe me, they never called me worthless. Tears welled in Mom's eyes. But mine were dry. I stood up, walked to the door. You put a dog on insurance while I bled alone in the dark. Now you can sit in the waiting room with the same silence you gave me. Kendra lunged forward. You're cruel. I opened the door. No, I'm just not your servant anymore. And then I walked away. No dramatic music, no slow motion. Just the sound of their shame echoing through the hallway as the door clicked shut behind me.